pelvic exam?
I don't know if it was every time, but it was frequent. You know, it was frequent enough to where we, you know, thought something of it.
Right. And I understand that all of the medical assistants that I've talked to all mentioned that they've all had words with him that was inappropriate, even to the point of telling his wife.
We did. That's correct, and we sat there and discussed it with him, and he said that's the way he does it, and you know, told us that, you know, we didn't know what we were talking about, basically.
And let me ask you this: I know you have had pelvic exams.
Mm-hmm.
During any other pelvic exam that you have had, is that the way that they do that?
No.
You saw what?
Like, it's called the clit flick. That's what we called it.
The clit flick?
The clit flick. I'm trying to tell you, like, how his procedure was. It's like to every girl.
And he did he tell you he was doing this, or?
No, that's just how he did it on every girl, even if she was big and fat. I mean, that's just how. I've never seen him do it any other way. If he would do stuff all day, and she just gets in your brain, you know, so like I throw attitude, because I know he won't fire me, you know.
Yeah.
So I throw attitude, and then he's like, you better straighten up or I'm going to slap you with my dick. And then he'll smile. And
okay.
That's how he was every day.
Basically, I get the feeling, even after my interview with him, that he really doesn't like women, and basically when he has them in that position as far as doing the abortion in the process...
That's how he is, yeah.
That he is in total control and they will do anything that he wants them to do.
I get the feeling that he doesn't like women.
I can say that's most accurate. He's a manipulator, and he just...
Yes, he is a big manipulator. He's been manipulating the press for a long time.
And he enjoys it, very much so.
But I understand that, you know, he is more or less like a legend in his own mind.
Well, that's exactly right.
I don't know how he has been able to manipulate the press in his favor, but...
Well, he's really good at that. You know what I'm saying? He's like a master of disguises, if you want to put it that way. I guess you could say. I mean, I worked for him for 10 years, and I went through a lot with him. You know, working for him. So,
you know, it's about time he's finally getting in trouble for all this stuff he does, and all the stuff that we didn't even, you know, that we ignored when we worked there, because it's like, who's going to believe us? He bragged on a daily basis the money he had. And he had a lot of legal backup. Who was going to believe him?
Are you fearful of any threat that he made you, or any
oh,
warnings that he
gave you? Dr. Finkel is not a person that you mess with.
That whole experience, that whole experience working there, I can't believe I did it. My whole life was miserable, and it's against God, and it's against everything I was raised, and just the whole place. And he is a pervert, and he has sex with his patients that are his, like, hookers.
He was on a lot of steroid therapies that he was doing for himself because he was into bodybuilding. The mood swings, and he and the lady he was dating, they were both on the steroids. The whole office knew about what he was doing. I quit him for those exact reasons. He was having an affair with one of his patients at the time, the last year and a half I worked there.
Okay.
And it was extremely bad. The office, the aura in the office, it was just unreal.
As you can tell, that's some pretty damning information that these women have brought forward. And you say, well, why didn't these women come out with this while they were working there? The reality is they all claim that Finkel had intimidated them and scared them to death. And there's some justification for that argument. During one of his police interviews, Finkel was quoted as saying, quote, "I've got a gun and they don't. They're going to get in a fight with me and they're going to lose." So you can understand why these women would be reluctant to come forward. What I want to know is, where's the national media on this story? I can promise you, if Finkel was a pro-lifer instead of an abortionist and had done exactly the same things that they're accusing him of doing, this would have been a nationwide story on ABC, NBC, CBS, Nightline, 2020, 60 Minutes. You just go down the line. Every one of these national news agencies would have been covering this story ever since it started last October. It is utterly outrageous that they haven't covered this. Another thing that's pretty outrageous, we haven't heard anything from the women's groups. So we called the Arizona chapter of the National Organization for Women and talked to their spokesperson, Janet Andrus. Listen to what she had to say about this.
Well, we think that about 95% of the charges against Dr. Finkel now are at the instigation of the Principal Right to Life group in Arizona. They found a way to get rid of Arizona's most active abortion doctor, and that's what they're doing. If, after all, if the fanatics are willing to kill abortion doctors, they're certainly willing to lie a little about them. I do think that at least 95% of the situation is contrived. When the subject came up, they latched onto it as an opportunity to get rid of Dr. Finkel. Now, he's a very abrasive personality, so we don't know for sure about the other 5%. It's hard to tell. But 95% may well be totally bogus.
Okay, so now we know what's happened here, according to this woman. 95% of these people are lying. I don't know how she came up with this number, but 95% of them are lying. This was a plot by a pro-life organization. By the way, she can't name which pro-life organization it is. She doesn't really know, but she knows it was a plot. And let me tell you who the conspirators were in this plot. They were, of course, the pro-lifers. They were women having abortions. These were pro-choice women to the point that they had abortions, and they joined up with the pro-life community to go after Finkel. It was Finkel's ex-employees, some of whom are now working in abortion clinics again. They joined up with the pro-lifers to go after Finkel. The local police joined up with the pro-lifers to go after Finkel. The district attorney's office and the grand jury. All these people got together and cooked up this plot. This is the most preposterous thing. You talk about conspiracy nuts. Who could be a bigger conspiracy nut than this person who makes such a statement as that? And again, even if you believe that 95% of these women are lying, then that means you believe 5% of them are telling you the truth. Well, that means at least 5 women out of these 100 were sexually abused by these guys, and they're defending him. It is utterly outrageous, and it is more proof of what I've said to you many times on this show. When push comes to shove, if these these pro-abortion women's groups have to defend one person against another, if it's a male abortionist against a female, even who's pro-choice but is accusing that abortionist of something, they'll defend the abortionist every time. They're so sold out to this abortion mentality that they don't care what the truth is. All they want to protect is that baby-killing right.